Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Well, it looks like the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice certainly caused a stir following a television interview he granted. Just about everybody is coming down on him, not least of all Governor Akeredolu, who says in one of the headlines this morning, "You goofed," actually. So really, the Attorney General is under fire because of his comment, on the whole question of the southern governors coming together and saying, we ban open grazing. It's not going to work with us. And the Attorney General's opinion is that actually that statement, that pronouncement is unconstitutional. I was reading something in the paper, you all know. I'd like to, maybe you can weigh in on it. You can call us actually immediately. I was reading Ebon Adeburua was saying that, the exclusive, that whole question is the exclusive preserve of the courts. It's not for the Attorney General to come in on the matter the way he has. And a lot of people don't really understand why the Attorney General has spoken the way he has spoken, seeing as his voice carries a lot of weight, and when he does speak, you take it very, very seriously. But so much so that some are saying that the AGF, Attorney General of the Federation, is becoming something of an agent provocateur. Otherwise, that's the opinion of Afenifere and Ohaneze. Why would he pronounce on a thing like that? Especially as some legal luminaries are saying, he should know that it's not his preserve to speak. It's not his job to interpret the Constitution. But he has said it, and I don't know, he sort of created something of a chasm down the middle where people are fuming and raging. Why would the Attorney General come in on this whole matter and say that it is unconstitutional? So that's where we are now. As a matter of fact, we look within the House, maybe we can find, there you go, well, Governor Akeredolu has fired back immediately. Well, at least the headlines are saying so. You goofed. You goofed. Southern governors are now, I don't know if digging in is the word. This is how we would like to manage our region, our area. And so they are responding that southern governors are saying that open grazing, I'm looking at one of the papers this morning, open grazing is irreversible. Now, how does that help us now? Now the Attorney General has gone and injected himself onto the question, and he's, it's not a matter of there's wiggle room. He's actually said that it is unconstitutional, the whole notion, the whole idea. And now everybody is saying, everybody who is for it is saying that it's irreversible. So that's a real log jam we have on our hands. And we'll see how it's going to go. Did you have an opinion? Would you like to call in? I'd like to hear about it. And we'll ask whoever else we can speak with about this whole matter. Good morning, Callistus. Callistus, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
I'm hearing you.
Okay. Morning. Good morning. Thank you for calling in. How did you want to weigh in on this matter?
All right. I'm hearing you. Yeah. What I want to say is this, huh? Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Carry on, please. Don't listen to your voice.
Okay. What I have to say is this. Open grazing, if we don't stop open grazing in Nigeria, there will never be peace security-wise. Because it affects both the north and the south. If you look at it very well, it is the cause of banditry in the north, and it is shifting down to the south. So let there be no sentiment about it. In the whole of Nigeria, we have to stop open grazing if we need peace. Because with open grazing, there will never be peace. The security issue will definitely continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in, Callistus. And quite frankly, it's like the Attorney General's, pronouncement, statement is not perfectly understandable to a lot of people, because there are two separate issues. I don't know if, in case anybody's thinking about one, there is no prejudice to the right of every Nigerian to freedom of movement anywhere within the country, whoever you are, wherever you are. That's like not a question. That's a guarantee. So that is not what is being spoken about. But the whole question of open grazing and its attendant issues, problems, losses for terrain you will be passing through, with what those people who say enough, no more on our territory in that way, they think of it as with reckless abandon. So, to now come back and, as it were, almost as a slam dunk and say, nah, it's unconstitutional. Well, they have now returned and saying it's irreversible. I'm getting a call from Calabar. Good morning. Collins. Good morning, Collins.
Yeah, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, most times I try to call, but it's always difficult to get you.
Well, so good you did get us today. Thank you very much for keeping on trying. What did you want to say?
Yes, to start with, it is embarrassing to hear that coming from a prominent person. Hello?
It is what it is.
Well, because when you hear this kind of thing, you think there's because sentiment is playing out. A very big sentiment is playing out. How can you compare Kathleen with shop owners? These are people that know they rented their shop themselves. They know they can spot them out. Then they're talking about cattle rearers. They cannot pinpoint. It's very annoying here, this kind of thing coming from a prominent person like that. The sentiment is just too much in this country.
Okay.
Really, I'm sorry to say.
All right then. Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in. You say it's very wrong. Yeah. So other legally minded people have said so. Ordinarily, you would be surprised, but this is doubly so, seeing as the Attorney General's position is what it is. You don't really expect to hear him pronouncing on issues unless he's going to be reiterating the stand of the Constitution. Not interpreting is a totally different thing, but now we have interpretation, because if he says that it's unconstitutional, he's just offered an opinion that people are not following the Constitution, and all those people behind the security, looking out for the security in the South, the Southern governors, they came together and had a decision, and it hasn't. It's just it's a bit uncanny. So that's why it's making this much news. I think it's in every single paper. You look at it just to show you that how much Malami's comments are appreciated. One says Malami under fire for supporting open grazing, fireworks over open grazing ban. What's that one saying? Anti-open grazing ban, AGF, Malami under fire. It just goes on and on. There's not a paper in the land that is not leading with this. Open grazing is irreversible. It's part of the same scenario. So let's hear it from John in Jos. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
I think what the Attorney General said is not good at all. A person of his own caliber shouldn't utter such word, despite the fact that it's coming from his own perspective. But he's wrong. Looking at what the open grazing has done, some hoodlums have taken over, and it has become something that takes lives. And you are comparing it with spare parts. It's wrong entirely.
Yeah. Thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. Nobody knows. Nobody knows but the Attorney General what exactly happened. Did he speak off the cuff? Was it a misspeak? People of that stature and this kind of profession are not often given to misspeaking. So as I said before, that's why it's causing something of a furore. But it is what it is, and we just thought we'd spend time on it. It's something that we'll come back to later on, but we just couldn't move forward. I don't think Okay, I understand that we can continue with this subject. In fact, let me take a break. Let me take a quick break. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And we were looking at this whole question of open grazing, the ban on it being irreversible as far as southern governors are concerned. But then the rude shock to the sensibilities of a lot, whereby the Attorney General and Minister of Justice coming in on the matter and declaring it something of a gaffe, that it was unconstitutional. Of course, Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State had, at least according to the newspapers this morning, I can see one of the headlines, The Guardian, saying that you goofed, Mr. Malami. I'm sorry, you goofed. Well, that one has been a former president of the NBA. So again, these are lawyers in the heaviest cadre. We also have in the studio another lawyer, constitutional lawyer, public affairs analyst, and president of Voters Awareness Initiative, and he's put out something. Wale Ogunade, a dear friend of the house, you put out something. You put out an opinion on this. You're going to have to be brief, please, because I know when you lawyers really get in on the matter, you come with all the evidence. The Attorney General says it's unconstitutional. I have seen Ebon Adegborough saying that it's not so.
He goofed. He goofed. And you see, let me just start this way. I've been advocating for years that indeed the office of the Attorney General must be dissected from that of the Minister of Justice. The man is holding a political office, so he spoke politically. And of course, he was bereft of the law. And of course, it's unfortunate that the lawyer is bereft of the law.
He's not the senior advocate of law.
Because he's the senior advocate of Nigeria does not make him to say to make that statement. It's very, very illegal.
Okay.
That statement means because he's the Minister of Justice.
When you're saying he's bereft of the law, you're not saying he didn't know the law. You say he left the law behind.
And now going to play politics. He knew. He knew. He knew that that's not the law because the Constitution is clear. I mean, it's quite very interesting and very myopic and even pedestal to compare spare parts sellers to cattle herders who are going around. Spare parts sellers, they will go rent a place, display their wares. If you had even gone around to say, it's for those who are selling clothes, we know there are people who hawk clothes. I just came back from a tour for your state some few weeks last week, and I know that I saw people inside Oyo, Iragbeji, Shaki and Co. Right, and of course, Okehu, they are busy selling clothes on the street. But they are not, they don't kill people. But these people, any victim of kidnapping, you hear they are Fulani people. They are herders. They attack them with AK-47. But let's even leave that one alone. Let me even attack his statement that the Constitution allows freedom of movement. Yes, they allow freedom of movement of animals or human beings. It's clear there's nowhere in the Constitution that says that animals must be moving around. This is the Constitution. There's nowhere. What the Constitution provides for is that people should move freely to doing their businesses within the province of the law. And that's what Section 45 now gives the governors the power. Section 45 of the 1999 Constitution gives the governors the power because they are government. And the governor is a government. And once a governor is a government, then definitely whatever has to be done must be done to protecting lives and property, because that is what the Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution provides, that it is the duty of government to provide for the security and welfare of the people. Section 318 of the 1999 Constitution defines what a government is. And a government is either that of the federal, that of the state, or that of the local government. So if the governor of a state makes an order prohibiting open grazing, he's in order. He does not need any law. He does not, because this Constitution is the supreme law.
Okay.
Where all persons and authority derives their power.
We're fortunate because we were going to try and speak with a traditional ruler, and we actually have that has considered to join us the Oni of Ife, the Oni Adeyeye Ogunwusi, who has consented to join us this morning. Good morning, Your Majesty. Okay, we understand that His Majesty Ooni of Ife will be joining us. The network, sometimes be like that, to speak it in slang. But so as we were saying, this is quite distressing to a lot of people, because here we're trying to evolve a society, egalitarian, based on the rule of law, based on constitutionalism and all of that. And then this is coming about, and it's in the middle of a very, very serious affair. The security in the land is much less than the president would want it to be, the president and every last Nigerian. And so why the chief law officer of the land is muddying the waters in this way is something. We have people, actually being able to call in, and some people have said exactly what you said before you came in, say, we don't understand how you could, how do those two come together? Spare parts dealers, motor parts dealers, and the question we have, saying that it's like if all the cattle herders have got together and say they want to forbid, maybe, but he wasn't misquoted in the sense that he spoke himself, and he was seen and he was heard on that channel's television program. I think it is Seun Akinbaloye's
program. He carried it too far, and as I said in my opening sentiments, that he's playing politics. And you can't play politics with the stability and the cohesion of the country. And he has gone too far. What I want Malami to do is to apologize to Nigerians, because he has abused our intelligence, our sensibilities, not to talk of even we lawyers. What he has done is very bad. And he's even denigrated that office, that exalted office of the Attorney General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Why? The issue is quite clear, and don't forget, we have already told them who hold public office that whenever you are in government, you are on there in trust for the general public, not for a section. Because the way he has spoken, he is defending a section, just like Bala Mohammed did the other time, talking about, yes, Fulani has right, the herdsmen have right to carry arms, whereas we have been banned from carrying arms and arms all over. That's one. Then even before it runs out of my mind, you remember when the issue of Amateku came up? The same Malami said, no, it is illegal. Of course, it takes an Akeredolu again to tell him off. That what are you saying? By virtue,
don't put it like that.
By virtue of the Constitution, like I understand what you are doing. But that's the impression.
Speaking as a lawyer,
that he spoke. He told him that that's not the law. So if you want to hit, that's not the law. Okay. That the law is that as the chief law officer of the state, and by virtue of Section 14 sub 2, I have the power and the right to protect my people. And if I make any law, it is for the good governance of this country. In fact, Section 45 of the 1999 Constitution gives whoever is the governor that power to ensure that safety and public order reign supreme in any state.
Okay. Mr. Ndubuisi has called in. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
I think this is my first time of getting this station.
Oh, we're delighted to have you. Thank you very much for keeping on trying.
I've been trying since, but today it's happened that I've been lucky to get you.
It's an important enough example, so you got us.
Okay, thank you very much. I think my own contribution to this conversation today is I think they should forget anything about sentiment in this country and tell us the truth.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. So you think... you are therefore implying that what? The Attorney General was led by sentiments in his utterings?
Yes, I say they should just forget about sentiment and tell us the truth, exactly what's going on in this country. At least when the certain governors meet together to say that this is what they don't want, they should listen to them. In order for not allow this issue of this crisis to be continue. We want to live in peace. Let them give us peace. That kind of work can easily disorganize this country. So that's my own contribution. Thank you and God bless you.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And it's a contribution that we appreciate because, well, you see, there is freedom of speech because
yes.
we've spoken about this.
Yes.
There's freedom of movement. There's freedom of speech. I don't know. The Attorney General, quite frankly, there's no wiggle room. There's just no wiggle room. He was very, very clear. He was saying that the southern governors are wrong, and they are saying, not on your life, not on your life. So how does an Attorney General find himself or herself in that kind of a position? That is coming out and saying something, and it's a constitutional matter, and then you, as according to what his colleagues, his learned colleagues have said, you goofed.
That's what I'm saying, and I'll continue to say that that's politics. You see, politics and law can never mix. Law is law. Politics is politics. When you are playing politics, we'll get you. When you are talking law, we will know, because law is based on facts and order and regulations. So this one, there is no two-way about law. You see, it's straightforward. You know when somebody is speaking law, he's speaking law. You see, there is room for politics, then they will begin to bend and mend. Let them play their politics.
Yeah, but the Attorney General, I thought, I would have thought, can't afford to have himself in a situation where people are accusing such an exalted office of being sectional. Because that's what some people are beginning to say, that he's speaking for a certain section, whereas he would be speaking for all.
It's quite obvious. It's quite obvious. If the governor of a state that wears the shoe knows where it pinches, people have been shouting, we are being attacked, we are being killed, we are being raped, we are being kidnapped on a daily basis.
Okay.
And they are talking, and they've not found a solution to it. And rather than support, you say no.
Okay. Mr. Abayomi Agoro in Abeokuta, yes. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Should I comment?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. You see, what the Attorney General said, what Malami said, that's a typical example of what is wrong about this nation. Okay? When somebody, when you know fully well the security of this nation is on the edge, on the cliffhanger, and you know what is right, nowhere in the world this kind of open grazing is practiced. And it's not even good for the health of the cows and for the economic advantage of it. And you see, people are calling for secession and everything, and you are the Attorney General, you are putting oil in the fire for people to destroy this country, for them to go around the neighborhoods and kill. And we have Fulanis here in Ladere, in Abeokuta, for ages. We pray in the same mosque. They are our friends. We help their children. They never bothered us until all these problems started. Instead of you to say the truth, if you want us to split the country, let's split it. We cannot continue with this kind of mediocres in government. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in. And if by any chance the Attorney General, Abubakar Malami, happens to be listening, he might want to call in. It does happen. It's a long shot, but he might want to call in, because the way people are understanding what they think they heard, because they did hear it, and then all the commentary, I can't imagine that any of this is welcome to the Attorney General, Malami. And which part of his statement was fact, which part of his statement was politics, and which part of his statement was law. Because those are the considerations that people are looking at. For instance, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe I could get a defense. Maybe somebody might want to call in and say that no, you guys don't have it. You got it wrong. Let me explain to you how Abubakar Malami is right. Maybe that call is yet to come. It hasn't come yet.
None of the statement he made is law. Everything he made in that statement is politics. And of course, defending a section, just as, what was his name now? The governor of Bauchi State did the other day too. And of course, before we go too far, I want to refer the Malami and his tribe. And the tribe that I mean now is people like him who think that with that, open grazing it can be banned. It has been banned in this country through judicial pronouncement.
Because we don't usually talk tribes on here.
No, what I mean tribe now is just an expression that people
like-minded people, wherever they happen to come from in the country.
So let me educate them the more. In 1966, a suit AB 26/66, AB, that's Abeokuta 26, that's the suit number, was adjudged on the 17th of April by late Justice Adewale Johnson, wherein he banned open grazing. And the ratio, the main issue of that judgment was that those who graze, who take their animals all around, because the contention of the defendants there was that, it was because the place was not fenced. That's why their cattle went into the place and destroyed their crops. And he said, no, you are the one that ought to fence your animals, not the person who has his farm. So he banned open grazing. And of course, they've been talking about ranching. So what's the problem about setting up ranches? I will now farm, spend 6 months and money and capital and resources on my farm, expect when it's now time for me to harvest, some people will now come in, destroy the whole thing, and I will now be made to suffer just for nothing, no compensation. No, that is against natural justice. That policy is repugnant. It's against natural justice. And it must be stopped. And the earlier, thank God, you see, I'm sure God wants this issue to be a big issue. That's why I pushed it out of Malami's mouth. Not because of anything. If somebody did that somewhere, obviously, nobody will hear about it. But because it came from Malami, it has now taken center stage. And for it to have taken center stage now, and I think it's right time we sit down and look at this issue. Because it's right injustice. Big time injustice for you to have a farm, work on your farm, the farm starts growing, and some animals will come and destroy the farm, and they will not say you have no right, you have no say. Obviously, that's repugnant. That's injustice.
You know, looking at the objective that we have, it does seem to me that this isn't very helpful. You know, Mr. Malami's, coming into this situation.
I say it's God. That's God, because there is a solution coming on it.
At all. Because for whatever reason, it's a very delicate issue.
Yes.
This whole matter about how we coexist and interrelate among ourselves.
Yes.
And so to have this coming in, it's quite upsetting, because he has clearly, it would appear, he has clearly indicated what side of the argument he is on, and what side he favors.
Who should be as a public officer?
Quite frankly, it would appear that, going by what has been said, that he prefers
he holds that office as a
status quo
trustee for the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So his thoughts and thinking will be for the development, cohesion, peace, and unity of the people and Nigeria, not taking sides, because obviously whatever statement he makes, whatever steps he takes tomorrow, I'll be looking at him from the angle of a sided person.
Okay. Well, so far, Honorable Abubakar Malami has not called in. It could only mean that either he's not watching or he doesn't care to join in the conversation.
Silence means consent.
No, I won't go as far as that. But we have another caller on the line.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, my name is James.
Okay, James. Please carry on.
Well, thank God for what happened. I think God just wanted to bring this to light, what has been happening in the government. Obviously, Buhari is not the problem, but his advisors. Well, it can cast our mind back to what Obasanjo once said, that my advisors, you can advise, but I'm not obliged to follow your advice. But obviously, President Buhari follows it as advisors, and it is clear to us what they've been telling him. And this is what has led this country to where we are today. And something needs to be done urgently to change these people that are in government and that are bringing trouble to us. There's no way we can cry wool when all this continues. We're in trouble.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling in. Really appreciate your call. Because the Attorney General speaking the way he has spoken, it's even a commentary on the whole objective of our working this delicate,
fragile country.
This question, so that it shall be mutually beneficial to all of us. He's just, where angels were treading lightly, he's coming there with all sorts of jackboots to say, no, it's wrong, it's unconstitutional. And usually lawyers are reticent, but and when I said lawyers, I said that because I wanted to mention Akeredolu, who is a former president of the NBA. So when it comes to the law, there's very little about it that he doesn't know. But he's had to fire back that you goofed.
And that's not the first time. I mentioned the first time when the issue of state regional security organizations were floated, when the federal system was not meeting up with expectations. And of course, he came out the same way and said that it's not they are illegal to have floated such regional bodies, and he was replied appropriately. And I'm happy he went to sleep.
Well, you Wale, it needs to be said, you've always been an advocate of divide up this office. There's a political aspect, and then there's a professional aspect to it. That the two of them are very uneasy bedfellows. But let me bring in Mike. Mike has called in from Wales. Good morning, Mike.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Good morning. Yes, thank you.
And good morning to your guests as well.
Sure.
For your request on the lighter note, if I have an issue and if Malami is the only lawyer in Nigeria for me to hire to defend me in court, then I will go by a week and defend myself. The very day I gave up on Malami as a lawyer was when he had an interview with the BBC reporter. The name of the interviewer was Peter Okwache. Even Peter Okwache was even ashamed asking with the reply Malami was given. I'm serious. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it was even ashamed because Malami was even saying that because somebody said something about the president, the person should go to jail. Is the person killed or what? You see, this statement Malami made comparing a spare part dealer and a car is wrong.
Okay.
Absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Like your guest said, he said it was God that pushed it out of his mouth because he thinks that was what is in his mind. And we cannot solve this problem like this.
Okay,
Let us
indeed.
all come together and face it and solve it at once. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I wouldn't, as you said, give up on Malami as a lawyer. He's a lawyer of high repute. He's the Attorney General. He's the Minister of Justice. But I can understand your thinking that you do not buy into any part of the statement that he made on that particular day. That's a different animal from giving up entirely on a person
You are talking about
as a lawyer.
separating the office of the Attorney
Yes,
General
which
from
is
that
something
of-
that, yeah.
If you remember, there was one man who is called Andwaka.
Another former Attorney General.
Attorney General too. He too, that's the road Malami is towing to. If you remember...
Well, maybe we should just limit ourselves to the current Attorney General.
No,
and,
I'm going somewhere.
okay.
You see, I have to make use as examples. Andwaka too went away from law and started talking politics, to the extent that he was telling us then that the president can rule from anywhere. You remember that statement he made? And all and all and all. Eventually, he was debarred.
Wait a minute.
Where I'm going is that...
Because the politics part of it, look, I think the Attorney General has adopted the position of the southern governors, quite frankly, are unconstitutional in some of them. So is that law or politics?
That's law. That's politics. It's not law.
But
it's not law because the law is clear. That's what I've just read to you. The Constitution is clear in Section 12. If you want me to read it for the benefit of Nigerians, they will hear. The Constitution is clear. The governor, I told you, Section 318. You will have it in Section 318 defines who a government is. And government is that either of the federation, either of the state, or local government. That's what the government is. Then in Section 14, subsection 2, it says, where is it here? Section 14 of Section 2, it is hereby accordingly declared that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria from whom government through this Constitution derives its power and authority. That's the governor, having been elected. And now said that what's the work of the governor? The security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government.
So that's clear enough.
So it's clear.
Let me hear it from Paul. Let me hear it from Paul in Agege. Good morning, Paul.
Hello.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you?
We're waiting for you, Paul.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, this is the topic on the screen now. Yes, good morning. Good morning. Yes, I'm calling from Agege. Fine, thank you. And you?
Go ahead, please.
Yes.
Go ahead, Paul. We're waiting for you.
I've been watching this debate, and I've been reading newspapers. I wouldn't say I'm very well educated, but I'm very conversant with all these things.
Okay.
This is one of the consequences of, yes, this is one of the consequences of having a square peg in a round hole.
Well, okay.
Right.
Well,
you at the back of their mind. They wouldn't talk. A whole Attorney General who can interpret the Constitution properly, when did he become the judge?
Okay. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, because at least that much you and I know. You and I might not be the most educated duo in town.
He struck a point there.
But at least you and I know that it's not for the Attorney General to interpret the law.
No, even if he can interpret the law, but he's not a judge.
Yeah, he's not a judge.
So he cannot make order. It's not for him to make order. I mean, we are in a severe...
Wait a minute. He can interpret the law, because another lawyer is saying that that is the exclusive preserve of the courts.
Of the court. No, what I say is that he can... I mean, I'm interpreting the law too, reading the law and interpreting it to my own according to the law as it were.
But
he can interpret, but it is the judge.
With respect, you are just Mr. Wale Ogunade.
Yes, I'm not a judge. I'm just Mr.
So you can interpret the law, and it will be taken for what it's worth. But when the topmost legal officer, the government's lawyer, so to speak, now pronounces, you don't expect mistakes. You don't expect.
That's where I'm going.
You don't expect goofs.
That's where I'm going. That his interpretation must be in line with the law. Or else, then it will not be subject to judicial intervention, and that's what we expect to happen. Because what he has said are just politics. So it has no backing of law whatsoever.
Do we have a cul-de-sac now? And in order to back out of it, we're going to have to go to court or what?
Yes.
Or the man backs down. Or the Attorney General backs down and says,
I can assure you that he's not going to court, and I can assure you that there is no step that is going to be in, because just as I said, it's a plan that has been hatched, but God just pushed it out of his mouth, and he now said it. For your information, just as I said, I was trying to get out some few seconds ago, Section 318, that's the interpretation section of this section. Let me read it out for benefit of, please, I beg of you.
Because I have a caller waiting.
Okay.
And there is no discussion as to whether or not the Constitution, that one is sorted. But Mr. Isiaq in Jos, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle. Yeah. And good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
And the viewers as well. I watched the Shinokiba program on Channel TV, and I can confirm truly. I'm not sure I can remember myself. I can actually confirm that Attorney General of the Federation did say that statement comparing X-Men, open grazing to spare part dealers. I think it's unfortunate. Open grazing is like cake. We all know that the best practice is ranching. I think it's unfortunate coming from the number one law officer in the country. I think it's unfortunate. It's unwarranted and should be condemned by all.
Okay. Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in. And, was it you or someone else from home who was saying that there seems to be this, I don't know, this challenge, this issue with the president and his spokesmen, his spokespeople, because women also speak with him, for him. And, as to what extent are they really voicing the mindset
of the president, of
their principal, our president, on whose behalf they seem to be speaking? We've heard, but maybe we don't need to go there to sort of stay on top.
There's a disconnect. Unfortunately, the president himself is not talking. So it is deemed that whatever they are saying, they are doing it on his behalf. Well, so he's take their rise and their fall.
Yeah, but there's no way the president would want to be unconstitutional.
Well,
so this is why
one will expect that such a thing like this that is boiling now. One will expect that the president will come out himself and address the people that know, Mr. Malami, you're on your own.
The president has only just come back.
It doesn't matter. He must be a working president.
Yes. Well, so what I'm saying is that one is still on the cards.
The president might speak. Douse the situation.
The president, or maybe Garba Shehu, or maybe Garba Adesina.
Adesina. I didn't vote for Garba Adesina or Garba Shehu or Adesina.
No, I mean, we just need to hear.
We want to hear from the horse's mouth. That's how the issue is.
Yes,
And I guess it's right time. In fact, thank God for this opportunity too. I think it's the right time that President Buhari should address us as a country. Because it's a long time that we've heard from him talk. It's good that he addresses us as a people.
That's not the viewpoint of either Adesina or Shehu. Both of them are saying that the president is doing it all the time through them.
He's not doing it. I said they are just agents. We want to hear from the principal that we elected.
Okay.
That's what is done all over the world.
Okay. Victor, in Niger State, good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Go right ahead, please.
Good morning. Hello?
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for calling in.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah. So carry on, please. What did you want to say?
So what I want to say about this thing is that for sure, if you see the way the Attorney General is speaking about the event happening in this country, you will see that no matter they say that he's learned, but he's not showing us how learned he is. Because a lawyer, a layman that cannot
well, it's not really for you or I to judge the learnedness of the Attorney General.
I'm trying to judge him, but you see, these are some of the things that is bringing disintegration in this country day in, day out. Because you think that whenever any section of the country wants to talk, whenever any person from any region wants to talk, he's not talking for the general good of the country. Rather, he's talking from the good of his own part. How will how will a learned person be comparing a step-up seller and a cattle rearer that is moving from one place to the other without even controlling his cattle as well? Okay, like, look at, even me, for example, now, I graduated, I served in Niger State. After my service, I started to open a business here. When I opened my business, they said, I now get to know that in this place, because it's a Sharia state, that they don't sell alcohol. But alcohol is one of the things that I wanted to push into. But when I learned that they don't sell alcohol, as a law-abiding citizen, what did I do? I left selling of alcohol and I started selling other soft beverages. You understand? That is to work according to the law of the state. Like in my own state, they sell alcohol freely anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
And now, the governors in the insecurity in their state, which even one of the middle belt governors, which is Governor Otom, have been complaining since before even 2019 election.
That's right.
That the level of insecurity is much, and every insecurity in this country is being traced to the herdsmen. So now, the southern governors now came together and said that one of the ways to tackle this is by banning open grazing, which all of us know that that's one of, at least we have developed to.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you very much for calling in. Thank you very much indeed. And, you know, I won't lie, Wale, I was secretly hoping that the Attorney General might have been listening, and if not him, at least one of his aides might have been listening, and they might have felt a need to call in case people are getting it very badly wrong.
Or we got it twisted.
This is what I'm saying. And so he can come in on the matter. But, you know, he's either too much engaged with other important things to be listening to a TV program.
This is unimportant.
But
I'm
sure they will give him his own set of the daily papers, and there is not one. I can count how many: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I have about 9 here, and every last one is criticizing the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami. That how could you speak like that, sir? How could you say what you said? Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir. Maybe you'll be rounding up for us.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. You see, what I don't understand with what we are discussing this morning is, one, does it mean that the federal government or agents, that they love governors coming to Abuja to beg for money every month in season observation, which is not heard? Now, what we have to learn is this: we are now on digital era stage. That the government of whether the South or South, they are taking a decision as the chief security officer of their state. That meeting, whether we call it conference or anything of that, is binding for all the states within that. So I see no reason why the federal government should be saying that they are not. But the thing is this: what the governors are doing is the best option for Nigeria, because this is time for famine. And then the time for farming, there must security in our farmland, in our bush, for the people to go and farm. We are talking about food security. How will the farmers go when there's no security? Tell me. And people are saying in that it's a very shameful thing that Nigeria, we import palm oil, we import curry. It's not shameful because the farmers cannot go to the farm. Look, the governors are taking the best decision, whether the federal government has or not. I want to ensure that governors should stop going to the federal government to beg money. They are not orphans. They are not the beggars. Governors should be independent of their own state, produce what they want with 24 hours security, allow people to go and do what. Federal government, please allow our governors to take their decisions now, because the number of soldiers, the SS, army, anything we name them, they cannot go around to take care of Nigeria. So, governors.
Okay, Mazi. As always, we really appreciate your calling in, and thank you very much, sir. Wale, as we're on the home stretch now, the Constitution, I mean, you don't even need to be a lawyer to know that the Constitution backs up the outrage that has been going. And the part that really was astounding is that he used legal terminology, as far as I'm concerned. When you use a sentence coming from a lawyer such as, this is unconstitutional, well, it's a heavy-duty thing. And the same lawyers from that whole fraternity are pushing back. I guess we're going to hear a bit more about this. It's either the man is going to come and say that, yeah, he misspoke. He can't say he spoke out of context, what are you looking for in that constitution?
Since you mentioned the constitution, okay. I want to, if you can give me the opportunity of reading
which part?
That section, because
you don't even have to read it in particular, but what does it say? What does the part you want to read out say?
Section 41 here, that you quoted, that you said you quoted the constitution. Section 41 said, every citizen of Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria.
That's right.
Every citizen, not every animal, not every cattle. It's clear now. The citizens here are not animals. Nobody put animals because they have their own laws.
But it's even open
and
grazing.
They are supposed to be...
It's open grazing that is a big issue.
That's it now. Open grazing has to do with animals moving around.
Transport your animals...
It will be transporting.
Transport your animals by rail. Transport them by trailer.
If you give me the opportunity to... You see, we lawyers, language, that's what we work with.
Yes. So transport them any old how.
This is clear. No animals is here. That's why I brought this thing.
I have heard Northern governors say that it's backward. Every citizen of
Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria. If they are moving freely throughout Nigeria, no wahala.
I have another caller. I can't remember the name now.
But causing mayhem with
Mr. Emmanuel, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
You're our last caller. Please go ahead. Quickly, please.
Yes. Thank you. I want to tell you that Malami was putting his speech as a lawyer, not as a politician. He told us so. He said he's talking as Attorney General, not as a politician. He says so when they ask him about his interest on the presidency of this country. So Malami is a son. He is qualified to lose a case in the court. In this case, Malami has lost because he was saying things that is constitutional, but he understood it wrongly. He is entitled to understand constitution very wrongly. After all, not all lawyers are on the same page. Any lawyer that goes to court, you see them in two camps.
Okay.
One can be right, one can be wrong.
Indeed.
Depending on the position of the judge.
That's another way of looking at it. But I want to thank you very much. I've got to interrupt at this stage because time is against us. But it's an interesting perspective that he brings in that Malami is a lawyer. Yes, a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Yes.
But then the fact that you're a senior advocate of Nigeria doesn't mean that you will never lose a case.
And in this
imaginary case,
not imaginary.
No, it is imaginary because the gentleman said that if imaginarily he brings this to the case, he is sure that Malami will lose.
And I concur with him.
So, in that case, I guess that's an unsatisfactory place to leave it, because I would much have preferred for the Honorable Attorney General
it's trending. Maybe
to have called him.
Make contacts with him tomorrow.
Indeed, there's much more time. Because I know that we've not heard the last of this. But I also want to thank you for coming in and giving us this perspective.
To God be the glory.
Wale Ogunade,
to God be the
constitutional lawyer, public affairs analyst, and president of Voters Awareness Initiative. So that's our program, at home. As you know, we don't do weekends, so the next time, what we say jokingly here as tomorrow is Monday, if today is Friday. And I just say have a great weekend, but please do everything you can to protect yourself from COVID-19. It's still very much with us. It hasn't gone away. You've got to be masking up. You've got to be washing your hands frequently. You've got to be socially distancing. And the big one, you need to be considering whether or not to take the anti-COVID-19 vaccine. Most people say go ahead and take it, but it's up to you. It's your decision. So do have a great weekend. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.